Sorry, everybody, my last video did get interrupted. So when we go ahead and do this division, if we do it in the calculator, we get 576,388.89. Sometimes I just want this to the nearest dollar though, so we have 576,389. Okay, and remember we were going from acres to hectares, so we were going bigger, so then the price is a little higher. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to volume. Okay, so volume is the space inside of an object. All right, and on page 77, okay, you have a bunch of charts for the metric system and for English units. Okay, so the volume is the amount of space that's occupied, but the capacity is the amount of fluid it can actually hold. Okay, so you'll hear the term fluid ounces, which just means they're talking about the capacity of a volume. Now, obviously, we don't always want to fill everything completely full because then it's a disaster when you open it up sometimes. So we have a volume that actually exists, and then we have a capacity, which is the best amount of fluid to have inside of an object. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to look at example 7 on page 78. All right, and I have a pool. And we have a lovely chart there too. We have table 9.5. We have a pool that has a volume of 10,000 cubic feet. Okay, and we want to know how many gallons of water does this pool hold. Okay, so the number of, if we go ahead and look, 1 gallon, 1 cubic foot is equal to about 7.48 gallons. All right, so I could go ahead and multiply my cubic feet times 7.48 gallons. And luckily for us, they gave us to this, and this is actually a power of 10. Okay, so how many gallons does this hold? Okay, we can go ahead and look at this, and it ends up being 74,800 gallons. And that's because we're looking at this. This is just a power of 10. So when we multiply it by this, it gives us a nice number, and it's very easy to go ahead and convert that over. All right. And there's also one for you to try, example 8, and I will leave that for you to go ahead and try. Now remember, when you're trying some of these, if you can't get to the answer or you think you can't do it, you can always message me through Canvas, and I can go ahead and give you the correct answer, and I can even work it out for you personally if you need it, okay? So don't feel that you're by yourself just because I can't be in the classroom with you. All right, let's go ahead and look at example 9. Okay, we're using table 9.7, which is volume in cubic units. Okay, so I have a fish pond that has a volume of 220,000. How many liters of water does the pool hold? Okay, so it's in cubic centimeters. All right. And if I look at my cubic centimeters, 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1 liter. Okay, so if I go ahead and I'm going from centimeters to liter, okay, so remember I have meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters, right? Okay, so those are our units, and we have 1 liter. Okay, so 1,000 centimeters is equal to 1 liter. See, so if I go ahead and take this, I'm dividing it by what? 1,000, right? So I have 220,000 divided by 1,000, which all that does is move the decimal 3 places smaller. So I have 220 liters. Wasn't even scary setting that one up as a fraction. So even though we're going from cubic centimeters to meters, we don't want to use this idea of moving back and forth because now we're talking cubic, we're talking volume. Okay, so this one, it's easier to go ahead and use this and do the division, or go ahead and do it in your actual calculator. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at one more example that's last end of 9.2. All right, and we're going to look at page 80. All right, and liquid medication, okay, is also measured in using cubic centimeters or cubic milliliters. So you'll hear the term cc in the medical field, and that is the equivalent of cubic centimeters. So you'll hear the term cc, all right? And we're going to go ahead and use that idea. Some of you may decide that you want to go in the healthcare field, so you'll hear that a lot. So we have two different tables. We have a 9.7 and 9.8. One is in the metric system, and then there's an English and metric equivalents that are right there. And we're going to look at the example 11. Okay, and a physician orders 20 cc's of an antibiotic. Omnicef, never heard of that. And that's going to be administered every 12 hours. Okay, how many milliliters of the drug should be administered? Well, if I got 20 cc's, all right, if I look at 9.7, 1 centimeters cube or cc is the equivalent of 1 milliliter. So how many milliliters should be disposed? It's exactly the same. It's 20 milliliters. So cubic centimeters is 20 milliliters. That's pretty cool. All right. Now let's look at part B. This is how many fluid ounces of the drug should be administered round to 2 decimal places. Okay. So I have, go ahead and look at the conversion. So I have fluid ounces. So 1 fluid ounce is equal to 30 milliliters. Okay, so I go ahead and I have 20 milliliters, right? And I want it in fluid ounces, so 20 milliliters over 1, and 1 fluid ounce over 30 milliliters. So the milliliters cancel out. So I have 20 divided by 30, okay, which ends up being 0.67 fluid ounces. Okay, that goes ahead and completes 9.2. I'll see you guys back for 9.3.